In this Christmas season, I felt the Spirit bring to my mind, remember. There's some things He wants us to remember. Of course, when we take communion, He said, do this in remembrance. When you remember something, you bring the past into the present. You make it a part of your present life. I heard this story some time ago, but I was refreshed and being reminded of the story. It's a wonderful story. It's actually a wonderful Christmas story. A friend of mine, Bishop Joseph Kamau, years ago, he was a pre-med student at Messiah College. And then he felt God calling him to be a minister. So he went back to Kenya. He and his wife planted a church, became Happy Church Ministries International. Today, that network of churches is probably over 200 churches, maybe, and thousands of members. And so a couple years ago, he was retiring as being the presiding bishop of that church. But at that time, he wasn't thinking so much about the honor and all that he had accomplished. He was thinking about a memory from childhood. And his childhood had been difficult. As you may or may not recall, Kenya was under British rule. And there was a period probably in the 50s and 60s of intense conflict. It was actually called the Mau Mau Rebellion. Joseph's father was caught up in all that as a part of a Kikuyu ethnic group. And he was imprisoned. So much of Joseph's childhood, his father was in jail. And his mother was left with the responsibility of feeding the family. And it was very difficult. She'd work all day and she got enough remuneration for that day to feed the family one meal. So it was a very difficult time. So Joseph needed to go out on the streets. He said if he found a banana peel, that would be a good day. One bright spot in all that was he had a school teacher, a primary school teacher, who, out of the kindness of his heart, would invite Joseph to his house and give every week and give him a real meal, not leftovers, not scraps, but gave him a real meal. And this was so encouraging. It enabled Joseph to survive and get through a very difficult period. And now, 60 years later, he's recalling that. He's recalling that kindness given to him in his childhood. And he thought, I wonder if that man's still alive. And so, because of his contacts across the country, he inquired, and sure enough, someone came back, yes, he's alive. And they told him the village where he was. So Joseph and his wife, accompanied by another pastor and his wife, went unannounced to this man's house. They found his house, they knocked on the door, and a man in his 80s came to the door, somewhat cautiously. And then Joseph reassured him, we come to see you. He invited him in. They were in a circle of chairs. And Joseph said, do you know who I am? And the man looked at him with a blank stare. No, I don't know who you are. He said, were you a teacher? He said, yes, I was. He said, did you teach in such and such a village? He said, yes, I did. He said, do you remember any of your students? And he said, yeah. After pausing and thinking for a bit, he said, I remember one student. He was a bright young boy. I really was drawn to him. His name was Joseph. And Joseph looked at him and he leaned forward and he said, I am Joseph. The man attempted to process this, stood up, and they both embraced, fell into each other's arms, and wept in this joyful reunion. And Joseph said, I've come to thank you for what you did. You saved my life. And after the emotions had calmed down a bit, Joseph turned to him and said, and what's it been like? How's life for you? And he went on to tell a story of difficulty, of brokenness. He had turned to alcohol, had become basically an alcoholic. Everything was falling apart. And so as Joseph listened to the story, he told him how he had met Jesus. And Jesus had made all the difference in his own life. And there, in that moment, he took the hand of this elderly teacher of his and put it in the hands of Jesus. And this man accepted Jesus, became a Christian, And shortly thereafter, Joseph connected him with the pastor of that area. He became part of a church and continued his life in a new life as a Christian, as one who had found life, who had been redeemed. The seed he had planted long ago came back to him 100-fold. Well, I give you that story because I don't know what the Spirit is whispering to you about somebody from your past that made a real difference in your life. Somebody that maybe needs to hear again, or maybe for the first time, how much they meant to you. This is a great time. This is a great time to reconnect and remember the people that had lived into your life in a way that made a real difference. So, may God bless you. May God speak to you. And may your remembrance lead to a connection that has life in it, has hope in it, has joy in it, has a future in it. Inasmuch as you do it unto one of the least of these, you do it unto me. Do this in remembrance of me. Make these connections in remembrance of Jesus, who gave his life for us, that we might have an amazing life ourselves, an amazing Christmas. God bless you.